HotSpot. It is Wednesday, December 7th. My name is Tom Magrino. We have a very special hotspot for you today because we have in the studio Tommy Refenes.
Yeah, Refenes.
Refenes?
Refenes.
It's not even close.
And also Edmund McMillen from Team Meat. Tommy, make sure to talk in the mic. You're all super away. Also, we have Thomas McShay.
Yeah.
Our normal
I know,
regular-
I'm a normal and boring.
Our normal regular Tom. We have 3 Toms here now. This is crazy. And Kevin Van Ord.
Yeah.
So yes, as I mentioned, you guys are Team Meat, the meatiest team there is. I don't know.
I don't know if that's true.
You don't know if that's true. There's a more meaty team out there.
There could be.
There could be. You're not willing to commit. That's fair. So yeah. Anyway, you guys made obviously Super Meat Boy. I mean, that main character is a pulsing, oozing wad of meat. Which one of you had like the super really fucked up childhood? Either.
This would tie in even stronger to Binding of Isaac, so I'm
Right.
going to point to Edmund.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah.
Yeah. So where does I mean, you guys, your games are very Binding of Isaac, Team Meat. You know, they're really far out there as far as the aesthetic quality. Where do you guys kind of get that inspiration from?
Just the horribleness of life.
Horribleness of life.
Wow.
You're so deep.
Do go on.
Yeah.
Super deep.
I mean, as far as meat, I mean, let's start with meat. Where did you come up with? Okay, we want to make a game where the main character is a piece of meat.
You want the funny answer or the real answer?
I don't either. Both. We'll go with both. Give me the one you think our readers will want more.
You can wait for Indie Game the Movie for the real answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's fair. I didn't realize there would be any spoilers to Indie Game the Movie. But okay, give me a fake answer then.
What was the question?
As far as meat goes, what's your fascination with meat?
There's no fascination.
Oh, okay.
Just because.
Just because?
Yeah. Wait, I got one.
Okay. I see this is going to go well. Okay, so no meat answers. I'm getting like this Andy Warhol vibe where all of your answers are going to be like, what are you talking about? Okay, so if you don't want to answer that one, I don't know. When you're making a game, where do you guys start?
Start with basic idea usually.
Yeah.
Usually with me and Tommy, it's always like a mechanic or whatever else. Like with Meat Boy, it was, do you think we could remake Mario?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we said, no.
No, Camry.
I always thought yes.
There's no way. There's no way to do this. It's impossible. No one would touch this.
These whole platformers things aren't really going anywhere or something.
It was just no. It's like you couldn't. How are you going to beat Mario?
Oh, I see.
Overly
there's usually
ambitious.
not. Yeah, there's usually not a point in trying unless you're going to do something better.
Mm-hmm. And so, when you were thinking about ways in which you could do better, what were the obvious things that came out?
It was just kind of rethinking difficulty, like trying to have that nostalgic feeling without the frustration. Like a lot of old games were great, but when you play them now, they're really like frustrating, like defeatist. They just destroy you. So it was trying to like, hey, can we figure out a way to make it so it's not so frustrating? And we just chopped it down to like, we basically made the game for like a little ADD child who needs constant feedback and something new, and you forget about your losses and just focus on your wins.
Yeah, because it's kind of interesting because it seems like Super Meat Boy is probably the hardest game I've ever played. So for you to say that it's not supposed to be hard, or it's supposed to be hard in a
it's
different
supposed
way?
to be hard.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be challenging.
Okay.
I mean, all games I think are supposed to be challenging. That's what's lacking in most mainstream games now is the challenge. And then you left feeling a bit empty in the end.
I see.
It's just like, oh, I beat the game because I was supposed to. That's how they designed it. Most games are designed now to be beaten.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's, you kind of think like most games back in the day weren't, but it never stopped anybody from saying they were awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not everybody beats Meat Boy, but we layered it in a way to make it so you still feel good about where you got to. Like, a lot of people have completed the main game, but then we have a very difficult version of the game that's there as well for those people. A lot of people feel fine just getting as far as they can through and saying this is my limitation and still feel okay about it.
So you basically recognize like Mario is the best platform franchise ever, and we want to
yeah.
top that. Like you ignored Sonic, you ignored.
I still feel weird about saying we want to top it.
No, I don't.
We wanted to kind of remake it.
Remake it, okay.
Yeah, like re-envision it for like
Like how we saw it.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's totally like a schoolyard thing. Like when you're little and you're like, wouldn't it be awesome if there was this game that was like Mario, but like Earthworm Jim, and like Mortal Kombat? Like
Mine was Battletoads and Sonic.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Lord.
I drew
Tom
pictures
hates
of that.
Sonic. So
Yeah,
just
dude,
don't bring that up.
I'm not a fan of Sonic either.
I lost all interest in Sonic right around Sonic. Well, after Sonic 3, I didn't care.
Yeah.
Sonic.
Sonic 2 was all right.
I like Sonic.
Sonic 2 was all right.
So
Sonic 4 is the best.
Yeah. Is that new one that comes in pieces?
Yeah.
Is the second piece hasn't come out yet, has it?
No, it's been a year.
Yeah. That was
Sonic
smart.
episodes? Which one is that?
Yeah, the one that came out in chunks. Or
Isn't
that.
there-
Oh,
Yeah.
Sonic 4 Episode 1. We
Sonic
gotta move away from Sonic. So Meat Boy
I'm
was,
actually kind of interested to see where you're gonna go. With
so
Sonic.
like you consider Meat Boy to play like Mario? Is that just like a true statement? Like it feels like Mario, the obstacles are like Mario, but they're just constructed differently?
Not exactly. I mean, it's a total re-envisioning of the basic platforming formula. Like in Mario, you usually get different suits and stuff like that when you progress, and it changes things. And there's different bad guys that act in different ways. And there's not really that many bad guys in Meat Boy, and you never gain anything. You're always the same. The difficulty curve is more or less your skill level getting better. And there's just a lot of layering of the different mechanics in the game. Like there's a lot of very happy accidents. And when you're designing something, you usually just find things. Like when you play something enough, you find out, like, we found this thing called, like, we called it like the S jump or the snake jump, where if you like held a wall and jumped out and curved back, you'd actually get up higher than you're supposed to. So that became a mechanic in the game that was advanced that came in later. There's a lot of stuff like that. There's wall jumping, you can get further than you can if you jump off of the top of something. There's a lot of little things, even like holding the run and jump button when you hit a wall and you slide up a little bit more because your momentum carries you up. Just like a lot of really slight things that we just introduce. We push more and more as the game progresses, and then we just introduce more mechanics of things to jump through and obstacles to maneuver around.
So it was a lot of just like, all right, we're gonna play through this, and then the mechanics kind of come out of, well, we kind of like, are you designing the mechanics or the levels, and the mechanics kind of come out of the level design?
Well, I mean, for me, designing, I want to try to make it like improv, really. Like I don't like planning every little thing out, because then it gets too strict, and you get like, you put yourself in a little hole and you get fucked over. And it's usually what happens, I think, in a lot of mainstream games where they have somebody design a game. This is the design document, and we can't sway from it, even though, the fun of making a game is like improvising as you go and finding out, hey, this introduced makes this is more fun than this can become this. And that's kind of how we did it as we went.
Yeah.
We had a very basic idea of how things would go, and we just win as we win. I mean, just added and added and added. Even after the game came out, like after the PETA thing happened, then we added in tofu. It was just, and that's kind of how it went through the whole game. And like, it was just me and Tommy saying, wouldn't it be cool if, like, the replay thing.
Yeah, the replay thing was just, I saw a YouTube video with the Quantum Mario thing where there was like 120 attempts of Mario at a time.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, we can do that in real time after every level. And then we did it, and it was awesome. So I was like, oh, well, that's a good thing now. We keep it.
You'd be surprised on how much of the game was, wouldn't it be cool if?
Yeah.
And
Wouldn't
we're
that
like,
be
wait, we're
awesome?
gonna go do that now.
Yeah,
It's like, well, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
Yeah.
So something you said that was kind of interesting was when like game makers are making things, they have this design document, and something we were talking about last week or a week before was there's a lot of tropes, I guess, that games or game designers hang on to, and it sounds like are you guys playing off of these tropes or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do they mean to you guys? Like, are they comforting, or do they help you make the game better, or do you try to riff off of them?
I think in a lot of ways they sum up our childhoods.
Yeah.
Like that was our experience with video games.
So it's
like,
just getting
Meat Boy
that
is like a
nostalgia.
love letter to video games.
Yeah.
Meat Boy is a video game in every sense, and like what we feel a video game is, and what we remember a video game to be. And yeah, I know it plays off of every single, classic late 80s, early 90s trope in video games.
Yeah.
That have been repeated for forever and ever.
I mean, do you feel like that's a good thing to keep repeating those things over and over?
Well, see, for us, I think with most games, you have to have something. So you have to have something personal in the game in order to become invested in it. You have to have something of yourself in it. And on the outside, it just seems like we're just referencing video games, but we're referencing personal experiences that just happen to be those video games that everybody knows.
I see.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Meat Boy did so well. And it wasn't like, like I've been doing this for a long time, but I usually reference things that are personal and nobody knows. So it's like you got this very small demographic, but we just happen to be referencing something that a majority of people experience, and they get it, and it's just like, oh, okay. So,
I assume that something similar is going on with Binding of Isaac, where that game looked a lot like Zelda. Is that more of a homage to Zelda as opposed to Meat Boy being an homage to Mario Bros?
Yeah. Binding of Isaac was another, like, just came out of the blue, and sadly Tommy was in Hawaii at the time.
Yeah, totally missed out on that deal.
I was in hell.
Tell us about Hawaii and how it became hell. You don't have to.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I enjoy the story.
Yeah.
It's a lesson everyone should learn.
Yeah.
When you get through something really stressful, there's always like a rebound.
Yeah.
A rebound. Oh, that does sound a lot better.
It sounds a lot better.
There's always like a rebound, and my rebound was named Ashley.
Okay.
And she was horrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to go on a vacation. Let's go to Hawaii, and we fought.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that's what you do.
Yeah, you go.
That's what you do on vacation.
That's why I don't want to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, no, you go to Hawaii in the first 3 days to just fight.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Everybody does that.
You should have stayed with her.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I was in the middle of. I moved 4 times this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of rebounds or
No.
Oh,
God. No. There's only
bouncing from one girl to the next.
Yeah. There was only one that I moved because.
Okay, that's fair.
And that was the last one, and then I moved here from there, and but yeah, so I've been moving.
Is it
and fighting?
Moving away from.
Moving and fighting.
Is it at all possible to relate this to video games?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I didn't get to do.
I should have known that. That was bad on me.
No, it was awful, and like, yeah. So I didn't get.
Yeah, the whole idea was he was taking a vacation, which at the time, I guess he assumed that it was going to be.
Oh, it was going to be a great vacation.
Very relaxing. So I was like, I have fears of travel and that sort of stuff, so I thought I gotta take a break too.
Right.
And I'll do something fun. And what I wanted to do was a game jam, and a game jam is basically like sit down with somebody and make up a game real quick and work on it for a few days and put it out. It's usually a prototype. And I ended up working with somebody I'd worked with in the past named Florian Himsel, who doesn't believe in germs or calories.
He doesn't.
Wow.
He doesn't believe in them?
No.
Like he denies their existence.
We went bowling.
Yeah.
And I didn't wash his hands, and then he ate. And I kept telling him, you gotta wash your hands. And he goes, I don't believe in germs. I don't believe in germs. And then he kept eating McDonald's, and he was getting fat. And I said, dude, you're gonna be like 500 pounds by the time you go back to Austria. And he's like, I don't believe in calories. He was drinking like a large Jamba Juice.
Okay.
And then like a shitload of McDonald's, and saying like the Jamba Juice is keeping him thin.
Because it's fruit.
Yeah, it's fruit.
That's easy. That's fair. So he does, in fact, weigh 500 pounds now.
No, actually, I think he's quite trim now because he went back to Austria.
Oh, I see.
There's no McDonald's.
There's no McDonald's. They just have a lot of.
But yeah, I worked with him in the past, and we're like, hey, we just both happened to be not working on anything at the time, and I was like, let's do a prototype for a game, and he just came out of the ether, basically. Design came first, and it was kind of like, I realized I wanted to make a roguelike, and one of the next games that me and Tommy are working on is a roguelike.
Okay.
Like, and I thought it would be good to like prototype some roguelike ideas.
Okay.
And I instantly saw that Legend of Zelda's basic structure could like work perfectly in a roguelike.
Yeah, totally.
So I just like reworked that game completely into a completely different game, and it worked so well. It was just, I don't know. When I started out like working on a roguelike, I'd never worked on one before, and it wasn't fun. The game wasn't fun.
Yeah.
It was fun to work on, but it wasn't fun at all. And I was really frustrated for quite a while, and it took about a month before it started forming enough for me to like be like, okay, maybe this is worth it. But the funny thing is, like, I was going to put it out for free as well. It was just going to be a small little prototype thing, but ended up working on it for 3 months, and then finally just put it up on Steam for $5.
So that whole game came together in 3 months.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. What were kind of the what were the roguelike inspirations, or which roguelikes do you?
Spelunky, Desktop Dungeon, and Crawl.
Yeah.
Stone Soup.
And do you think this is another? I don't know. The thing that's kind of interesting with the way you guys make games, it seems, is unlike Mario Brothers or Zelda. Like I know you guys have said in the past that there won't be a Super Meat Boy 2. So it's like
Yeah.
it's
except,
like how do you
except the game that we're working on.
accept the game you're working on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Meat Boy 2 though.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's not.
But it's well. So yeah, I mean, I guess the question there is like if you're not gonna franchise these things.
No, I know. Yeah.
How do you?
I don't think there's gonna ever be. Well, maybe when we're like Tommy buys a few more Teslas,
Yeah.
Okay.
about a
and like we
couple
have no more
Teslas.
money, then we'll like be like, fuck.
We need to go back to
We
that
need to
Super
juice
Meat
this
Boy
Meat
well.
Boy thing,
Yeah.
and we'll make a really bad version and just destroy it like every other old.
We'll go to
fart does
Ubisoft
when
on the road.
Right.
And we'll get
Be like,
$10.
so what actually are you guys doing here, and how is it actually so successful? As far as Ubisoft goes. So yeah, like when you are making, I mean, how do you guys create that brand awareness thing? Or how, do you want people to know who Team Meat is?
I don't even know what brand awareness is.
What is that?
Yeah, that was some profanity there. I'm sorry.
I don't know what that means.
But it seems like you guys are in a business and you have to like keep this whole business thing going.
No, business is fucking stupid,
No,
man.
we're
not.
The business is the worst part of this. Like
Yeah.
everything to do with business is horrible,
Right.
and it's very alien to us too. And like Tommy has to pretend that he's a lawyer.
I
and,
pretend.
Okay.
I do a good
I'm
job.
pretty sure that's a felony.
No.
No?
Not in the way I did it. I looked it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so one of our publishers wasn't paying us,
Yeah.
and I decided that I was going to pretend lawyer them
Okay.
and say that I had kept talking to our lawyer, and you owe us this according to this contract of this and that and that, and I got our money.
Wow.
Yeah, so I pretend lawyer.
Okay.
I Goodwill Hunting them.
That was. I mean, did you actually consult the code, or was this a?
No,
just-
I made it all up. It seemed logical to me. They owe me money.
Yeah,
They said they owe me money. Give me money.
that's fair.
Yeah,
And it worked.
yeah, they did give us money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so far you guys have two very successful games without much like marketing or really. I guess your marketing is just the word of mouth.
We market. I mean, like this is marketing, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
That's what we like to think about on the
willing to-
hotspot. This is totally for the marketing.
No, we're not. No.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is all pure stuff.
This is like we are more than happy to talk about the things that we're working on
Yeah.
because we are excited about them. And then marketing the game comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just happens to be part of it. We did stuff to market the game that people would consider genius marketing, which we didn't consider genius marketing at all. We thought it was fun.
Like what?
A comic book series. Well, one comic book that I eventually kept remaking until it became a full comic book.
Okay.
But yeah, we did that initially for a Nintendo Summit because Nintendo asked if we could like have some sort of like a not a pamphlet, but like basically like a little flyer that says what the game's about that we can hand out. And I used to do comics, and that's what I
They
did.
didn't even ask that. They didn't
they
ask
asked
for a
for
flyer.
something.
They wanted. I think we did the flyer. I think we just wanted because nobody else at that thing had anything to give out.
They recommended.
Yeah,
that we had.
maybe they recommended.
Yeah, well, it was like okay, we had to get a headshot.
Yeah.
Okay, which was part of it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the picture of us, the Team Meat picture,
Is
that's
it
the headshot.
the one on the Christmas card?
Yeah.
So that was.
I love that picture.
Like we just thought, like, oh my god, this is insane! Like all these people are taking this so seriously.
Yeah, and
they're
their
gonna get in their
bios.
suits, in black and white.
We
like-
took our bio from a pharmaceutical
Yeah.
company and we just changed
Copied
the
it.
names.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, and then we ended up like.
So you're trading on lies. Is basically what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. It's all legal.
It's
Lies
called,
are legal.
It's not on there.
It's called fantasy.
Right.
It's but yeah, no, we wanted to like show what the game was about without literally showing what the game was about. So I made this like 16 page comic that kind of like didn't really show what the game was about, but more or less the humor of the game and the kind
Yeah.
of feel that we were going for. And we printed it for very cheap, and we gave it out there, and then that like turned into like a GDC thing where we end up getting contact with GDC, and we're like, hey, can we put these comics, 'cause it's pretty cheap, in GDC bags? And then like jokingly said like, yeah, sure, if you can get us like 15,000. And we didn't know that was a joke because you can't like the sarcasm didn't come through in the email.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, we will do this.
Yeah.
15,000 on the way.
Yeah, so we scrounged around and we were able to find somebody to actually sponsor the printing, so because we didn't have money.
Right.
And we came back with them. They're like, okay, we got it. And they're like, oh, we weren't really.
We didn't think
serious.
you'd do that.
We didn't
Yeah.
think.
And then you got your lawyer face on. You
Yeah,
said,
no, it's like, excuse
I
me,
have
sir.
an email right
Yeah.
here.
Black
that
and white.
says-
But yeah, they felt bad, so they were like, oh yeah, sure, okay, go for it. We'll do that. In which you actually had to drive up to like Oakland and like
Yeah.
fill
Oh,
15,000 comics is a lot. And we had to fill my mom's little car.
Yeah.
And it was like scraping the ground. We were going over the bridge. And then, we went from Oakland, picked them up in Oakland, had to drop them off at the distributor
right.
for
Yeah.
GDC. But yeah, it's basically what we're doing. Marketing wise, we do whatever's kind of fun to do. And,
Yeah.
we never want to like pay somebody to advertise for us or have some
Right.
bullshit ad on some website. And like we get propositioned a lot of like, hey, you want to advertise in this magazine? It's like
No.
I don't even see how that works.
Yeah.
It seems like such a trickle effect for even that kind of advertising. Like you just do so much more if you just had the creator of whatever it is you're trying to sell talk about his game on a podcast at CBS.
Right.
You know
That
what I
is
mean?
helpful.
And it's like I like doing this. Tommy likes doing this. Why wouldn't we do this?
Yeah.
So can we assume that you never in a million years would want to join like a major publisher or a major developer and just make some kind of big budget game and
That's like-
F all that and just kind of do your thing and do it from your imagination?
That's a punishment.
Yeah, it is.
If I kept saying if Meat Boy didn't do well, I was going to go work at Epic.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was like,
That would be like you moving
God,
to
what
Las
were you
Vegas
thinking?
and putting on like a stage show there.
yeah, that's kind of, I mean, Epic's fine, but
Yeah.
it's not my ideal job. I mean, it's probably not the ideal job for the strippers either, but,
Right.
have to do it. So,
It gets them the Lamborghini. So what are you gonna do?
I guess, so.
Yeah.
Is there something I'm curious too? Is there like one of my favorite things about Meat Boy? Well, I mean, it's all built in there, but like the fact that if I screw up and I'm done, level just starts right at the beginning, right then and there. I don't have to wait around. Why aren't other people doing that? Like
sure they
seriously,
will. I mean,
every time I play a game, the fact that I have to freaking wait around because I screwed up or because I died or whatever, that feels like real world punishment as opposed to in-game punishment. Like
I assume there will be more games like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of improvements in platformers when it comes to that aspect in the independent scene, for sure. Like a lot of people get it. It's just a basic formula. Like it's a formula of punishment. Like when you remove lives or whatever from a game, which was the original punishment, remove continues, and you just start the player over from the level. When they die, the punishment is the amount of time it takes for you to respawn, and also the size of the level and how long it takes for a checkpoint.
right.
You shorten that, which we did to like the tiniest degree. We shave off everything. Like you can see Meat Boy's dead body chunks still on the screen when he pops back over here.
Yeah.
So it was like an instant thing, and you'd be surprised in how like even with like V is a great game, like a really great game, but it discouraged me that there was an animation that flickered
Yeah.
like that and then respawn, like just that little
It's
teeny
just
thing.
frustrating.
It was
Yeah.
like, come on, like
Yeah.
I just want to throw myself into these spikes.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
Totally understand
Yeah,
that.
you just gotta like shave off every last bit of discouragement, and so the player can just get lost.
I think Meat Boy's respawn is like 1.2 seconds or something like that. It's like nothing.
It's what makes the game. It seems like
Yeah.
for me at least. That's what made the game.
It's very important. I mean, there's a lot of factors of the game that make it like,
Yeah.
quite literally, it's like how can we, we're both get bored so easily and frustrated so easily. Like how can we make this so, like, not only is all that frustration gone, but then there's like a crazy reward at the end if you die at a shitload of times.
Right.
Like you get that little feedback, and there's just lots of reward, lots of stimulation, lots of things going on and happening as fast as possible to make sure that kids don't get bored.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was
Kevin.
just gonna ask, like, and judging from, sadly I haven't played Binding of Isaac, but like judging from what I see and know from Meat Boy as well, like it seems like you guys think about death, in the player death at least in the game, right? Well, okay, I'm not getting too dark, am I? But like you think about player death and what it. Thank you.
That's the wrong one.
Thank you.
It's fine.
So
Laugh tracks are never not inappropriate, especially at a funeral.
would you say though that the player death is something that you think should be thought of more by developers, or are you planning on thinking about the way player
should be
death works every time?
Everything should be thought of more, and it's like every aspect of game design should be questioned, because it's kind of weird to think that things like in the mainstream at least like have become stagnant for like 15 years. Like
Yeah.
people think a lot of things just didn't get reworked. The thing that blew me away for the longest time was the in the early 90s this weird trope of coins collection, like coins everywhere.
Collectathon.
Collect the thing. Like there was absolutely nothing. You got nothing from that. Like
Yeah.
even if you got a free life at that point, like it didn't really matter.
I mean,
Well,
it was get score, and
I mean,
score
when
didn't
you-
mean
And
anything.
score didn't mean anything.
Score
And, like,
means nothing.
Are you talking about like Banjo-Kazooie?
I'm talking about anything that has like, hey, there's things here, here, and here, and here, and you don't really get anything for it other than a one up when you get 100.
Okay. Oh, okay. So not stuff like Banjo's Jiggy.
Oh no, not like stuff that you would be rewarded for something else at the end, like a side quest.
Okay.
Like not that.
Something
but
with
I'm just
like
saying,
literally no reward.
No one questions. No one really questioned that. Even like with Mario, like, and I love the new Mario, but like, what's the point in the live system?
I was wondering. I mean, what,
Like
what is the point?
I'm currently
Mario
halfway
3D
through
Land.
the Dark World.
Yeah.
Of that game, and I have 102 lives
I actually only have 10 because
you're stuck on that.
No, I've been doing. Have you been getting all the coins?
I've been trying.
I've been getting all the coins.
If I don't do it, I want to go back.
Not the stupid.
Yeah, I know.
Not those. Yeah, the big
ones that matter.
The three.
The one
yeah.
that you need to like unlock more.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, no. I skip them. I skip the ones that are really frustrating.
Yeah, I see. I've been getting all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and that's why I have 12
But
lives.
what happens when you run out of lives?
Oh, you just continue.
to
I actually
get
don't
lives.
know what happens when you run out of
I
lives.
know for a fact that they continue.
Oh yeah, the game
So it's
deletes.
like, what's the point of even having those?
Yeah.
Like, it's this weird score system, and like score went out, and it's kind of funny because I've been trying to rethink score systems and how they can be, revived in a lot of ways. And it's just so odd that no one would question stuff like that. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, why do you have these things? Like, you don't really get anything. And I know that most people, even without thinking about it, still go for it because it's something to go for. And the funny thing is, like, in the original design in Mario, a lot of those coins were placed to help the player learn how to jump through things.
Yeah, that
Like,
was
go.
Yeah.
That's where you go. And then it was a legit reason you needed 1-ups when Mario won. You needed those things. in order
Well,
to go
I
through.
didn't need it, but yeah. Some people might have died.
But it's just funny that no one questions those things. But it's not just lives. It's not just controls. It's not just coins. It's everything about games. I guarantee, maybe when I get better at design, I can look back at some Super Meat Boy and think, wow, that wasn't that good. Why the hell did I choose that? I could have done that better.
Was there anything with the original Mario or your inspiration there that you're like, oh, this doesn't need to be questioned? Like, obviously this is correct, but then you came back to later and you're like, oh, wait, there is actually a big problem there.
I don't know. I honestly
Nothing
don't
comes to
think
mind.
much
Mario's
about-
jumping
Yeah, Mario's jumping is on.
because it was like 3-layer jumping.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing we did different is you have the like tap jump, and then you have the medium jump, and then you have the long jump, which can vary. So it was like one little tap jump and then varying heights from there. Whereas Mario was just 3 do.
Right.
That was the only thing, but I mean, I didn't like the momentum in Mario either.
It's a
Where
little
you slide. I don't like the slides.
So as far as like learning things from the games that you guys have done, like Binding of Isaac and Meat Boy, what have you learned, I guess, that you're going to be taking forward?
Not to promise stuff.
Right.
Yeah, what have we learned? We learned not to make sure you get everything in contracts.
Yeah. So it's mostly the business stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is mostly business.
It's business stuff, and
What-
then
Don't promise anything.
don't promise
Do you
anything.
have a publisher with Isaac, or was that just self-published through Steam?
Self-published through Stream. No one would touch it.
So that was a lot easier.
No one
to
would
deal with
touch one of the most entertaining games.
Well, I know. I assume not. Actually,
I'm going to say it. I thought that game is
That's-
entertaining as hell.
That's really depressing. Like,
I really
so
enjoyed
did
that
you
game.
like contact publishers and they didn't want to touch it?
No, honestly, I just assumed.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You just assumed that.
No, okay. Number one, like I didn't want to think about. I didn't want to self-censor whatsoever, and I didn't want to have to worry about any of that stuff. So I did not want to get any kind of ratings, and Steam does not require ratings at all, which is awesome.
But like XBLA would require.
Oh, of course. No, that's not an option. Like, publishing through them is not an option for a game I made in 3 months. It's like it wouldn't be worth it to do it. No,
What about
not only the fact that it wouldn't be possible because it's Flash.
Yeah.
Like Tommy would have to remake the whole game, and then we'd have to jump through hoops with Microsoft, which probably wouldn't even happen because they're probably like, "What you said that we raped you."
Yeah,
What was the deal with that whole rape thing?
we actually did say that.
But no, there's a lot of headache that goes along with publishing through another company.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's worth it. Like sometimes it's not. And with a game this small, it wasn't worth it at all. And that's not what I wanted. I didn't really think that. I honestly didn't think that many people would like the game. I thought the content and the design were just way too alienating. And I just wanted to make another quick game and put it out there. And Steam was all about it. So
Cool.
that was basically it. I mean, they're really cool. Like Steam is awesome. I mean, just the fact that they don't require ESRB is amazing. Like it just shows the independence.
Yeah.
Like they don't give a fuck. They don't care.
They just want games.
They want games, and they know that there's a market for people who want those kind of games.
Do you guys care that there's no like rating on it? I mean, what if like some
It would
kid
be M.
kind of
I think
came
rating
along and played
systems are bullshit regardless.
yeah?
I mean, it's like
The ratings really
the parent
don't
is the one that
The
Yeah.
parents the one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
if the kid's old enough to go and swindle a video game like that, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. Like it's not gonna.
So I was gonna ask you guys about iteration, but I've almost like talked myself out of this question because like if you don't do sequels, you're not gonna iterate, and then you don't get something like Uncharted 2 was better than Uncharted 1. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I talked myself out of this because the first Zelda is the best Zelda, and the first Mario Kart's the best Mario Kart. So there is a way to achieve perfection right away. But how do you feel about like this? Like, do you think if you keep iterating and releasing sequels, you're actually gonna improve? Because Mario has been iterated and it's been much better because of it.
in some ways.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
thing is that if we don't have any ideas, and we've always been honest about this, if we don't have any ideas on how to innovate what we've already done, there's no way in hell we're going to work on a sequel.
Okay.
Like it has to be a considerable improvement. Like
It needs to feel to us like we're making a new game.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm sure Nintendo went from Zelda 1 to Zelda 2. Like,
Because they're
granted, Zelda 2
completely
yeah,
different.
Exactly, because they're completely different games. And even like Zelda 1 and the Super Nintendo version of Zelda, they introduce a major mechanic that just expands everything. Like they never really, it was never a Mario Kart situation. You know what I mean? Like with that, like with Zelda, they maybe with I don't know. I think the first time they really dropped the ball was actually people probably won't like this. Was actually the last one, the Twilight Princess. Yeah, I think that
Okay.
was the closest to something else that they've already done of all the Zeldas.
Oh, because it feels kind of like an HD Twilight or Ocarina.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It feels like I've already played that. Like Majora's Mask, the design that was crazy. Like that was totally insane. Like that was a genius idea. Great idea.
We're not getting another Zelda like that. I don't think. That
No.
was- yeah.
No, it was phenomenal. And you need something like that in order to revive something. Or you become, a Tony Hawk or a Mario Kart and you just juice it. You get more money, but what does that
You
matter?
die inside.
These dollar bills, they go straight to my black heart.
So when you look at like sequels, because this industry is just sick with sequels. Like, what do you see is good?
I mean, how many 3s are coming out this year?
It's gross. So when you look at like, how many examples of like this is a good sequel do you see, and how many examples of like we don't need another Call of Duty? Bad sequels.
Well, we
do you
don't need
see?
another Call of Duty. So
Like,
don't
I mean,
even
what
throw
do
it.
you like? How does it look to you? Like, I mean, you were talking about Skyrim earlier. Does Skyrim excite you from like a design perspective?
I have a spot for certain big budget games. Even I'll play it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Skyrim. I got to a point where, you know what I think it is? I think it's your fault. I blame you.
Why would I do?
You always, whenever we play like a big game, and then you'll get further than me.
Yeah.
I'll feel like like there's a part of me with him, inside him.
You're playing the game through.
yeah,
Elaborate on this.
So I feel like if he's further along and he's maxed out his character, and I feel like well, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point in living? He's already better than me. Isn't he?
Yeah.
May as well
try?
not even compete.
Yeah. Why
Why
try?
try?
Stop trying.
Opt out.
No,
That's fair.
I think a lot of things were improved in Skyrim, and I think with big budget games like that, you got to do it in order to keep your company going. It's a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a totally different world.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like all of your games are fairly small, so the iterative process isn't as necessary. Is
Yeah,
that
I'd like
fair?
to think if they had more of an option, that more mainstream companies would innovate and take bigger risks.
Yeah.
But because of the risks involved and the money involved and the people involved in the business, they don't, and that's it.
Are
And
there? Oh, sorry.
It seems like you're
That's my optimistic.
you kind of are.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
taking like the iterative principle to, even though you're not using it on the same franchise, you can take it to a different game? Like, is like, say there's a mechanic in Super Meat Boy that you're like, okay, there's some potential here if we just kept on it. We can take that idea and put it in a different game. Is that any?
There's not really much.
Not really for me, boy.
No.
No.
Okay. Binding of Isaac, maybe? Did you get any ideas from that?
Well,
you'd like to use?
the point of Binding of Isaac was the roguelike formula, which we
Right.
will be using.
Okay.
Well, I learned a great deal from making that game, and that
Yeah.
was the whole point in doing it.
Mhm.
Like, I guarantee that the next big game that we work on will embody a lot of qualities of Isaac
Mhm.
and a lot of the stuff that I learned, that I can definitely improve on.
So,
But it won't be a literal translation.
can you talk about this game at all? I don't
We
want
shouldn't
to
talk
put
about it, other
no.
than that it's a
It's
roguelike
a
element.
roguelike.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want to promise anything.
No
promises.
I'm not
We learned.
promising shit.
We learned.
You learned.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's see. So Tommy, you've been known to make some kind of bad statements about the App Store.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too deeply in it, but are you still like, now that we're like a year and a half on from that GDC rant that you did, or speech, or whatever you want to call it? Have your
I call it a speech.
You called it a speech.
Declaration.
A manifesto, perhaps.
Yeah, okay.
Do you still feel the same? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I do still feel the same because I feel like I don't like the idea. Like everybody's like, oh, you got to be against gatekeepers. Oh, gatekeepers aren't good.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think they're all right because if you don't have gatekeepers, then everybody just gets in.
And by gatekeeper, you just mean like the approval process?
Approval process.
Okay.
I mean, well, like the new awesome thing that the App Store does is like the clone of everything gets up there and is able to be sold, and Apple doesn't give a shit. And people that like, well, it happened to Tyrone with Night Sky. There was a blatant clone. Yeah. Yeah, who copies Blastmine? But yeah, like that's just what they do. Yeah. And I think if there were gatekeepers in place, they would go, hey, this is a Minecraft clone. Hey, we already have 9 million things of Bejeweled. And by doing that, you take the thing that they gloat about, which is like, oh, there's, what is it now, 120,000 games on the App Store?
Probably.
You took all the shit, you'd maybe have like 500 games. And of those 500 games, they would be some pretty decent original stuff. I mean, like, but when I did that rant, the trend back then was, because Street Fighter had just come out on the iPhone.
Right.
And the trend was taking a current game that is successful and putting it on the iPad.
Right.
And that's really stupid because none of those work.
Yeah. You can't port that shit.
You don't want like a dual analog thing with it's a touchscreen.
Dual analogs.
You don't want to play Sonic the Hedgehog, which already controls like ass on a touchscreen. Like that's not what.
Yeah, no, that's
weird.
It's strange how that's not fun. But then people start like actually using it for they start playing to the strengths of the platform. So like you have like Infinity Blade, which I really didn't like it, but not because it was a horrible game, but because it was I didn't like it because I just didn't like the game, but it played well.
Yeah.
Swords and sorcery.
Yeah, you got swords and
Cut
sorcery.
the rope.
Yeah. I mean, Angry
World
Birds.
World of Goo works.
But see,
slip that one in there.
Angry Burns. Angry Burns.
There we
Angry
go.
Burns.
Next game.
Angry Burns.
Next game.
Rovio's next billion. Angry
Yeah.
Burns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rovio's not worth $1 billion.
Brovio? 2.1 or 2.15
No, that
or
is
something.
I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah.
I was saying when they declined that they're going to regret that because they were worth like $4.50. They ripped off like a Flash game that was
Crush the
free.
Castle.
And
Yeah.
it's like they made billion.
Thankfully, they're in Sweden and cannot understand what we're saying.
No,
No,
their game is like it's the worst game that is
No, they know
successful
it.
ever.
They know
No,
it.
they know it.
They
Far.
know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
It's a-
great businessmen.
Oh yeah, they're
You know what's
wonderful
sad? This
businessmen.
is a very, very sad story.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We like sad stories here on the Hotspot.
Yeah.
Armor Games, which is a Flash publisher or Flash sponsorer, who I've worked with in the past, IMs me one day and says, "Oh my God, this game is so great. This is going to be the next huge thing." And he sends it to me, and it's this game called Crush the Castle.
Okay.
And he sponsors it, and he's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna put this thing on iPhone. It's gonna be so great." And then not 4 months after it comes out or 5 months after it comes out, they copy it, of course, and put it out, and it becomes this huge success. And it's just like, oh my God, that must be like
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, it's got to be horrible.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that.
But that epitomizes the store.
That is
Right.
the store.
And that's why it sucks.
Although gatekeepers wouldn't have prevented that because Angry Birds beat Crush the Castle to the iPhone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that would kind of suck. But.
Yeah.
I mean that was just bad timing altogether.
It is funny
for that
though that
guy.
everybody's trying to outdo them. They're gonna add 4 more features to Angry Birds, and then it's gonna get in the top 10. What was that? Ninjas versus pandas versus pirates. That was in the top 10 for a while. And it's exactly the same game. And it was slightly better, and I played it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like that's more an issue for the gaming industry at large. Because I mean, Battlefield 3 is Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah,
Is,
yeah.
all
Well, at
sorts
least the
of
multiplayer is different.
Yeah.
And it's also got like a really bad single player, which is like a testament to years of really not hard work.
right.
Like that was
There is absolutely no reason for any of those games to have single player. They waste so much money on that single player garbage, and it's not even a game. Like you're watching a movie, you get pushed along, and it's just chaos.
Like on rails.
Yeah.
I played the beginning of Black Ops in a single player, and I was just like blown away at how I felt like I wasn't playing anything. I felt like I was just watching a little movie, and it was pushing me along. And then multiplayer, it's a legit shooter.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It's there.
I mean, but they at least they make an effort to put in a story. You guys don't make an effort. I mean, your story is very limited to, like, I'm thinking of Meat Boy's story where it's a lot of flash cutscenes and not much by way of depth.
I'll tell you this. Did you notice that all the parodies of all the different games actually sum up what happened in the previous chapter
Of
Meat Boy?
Of Meat Boy.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, just parodies. But wait,
And
There's more.
if you go back and you look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of thought.
So you guys actually did put a lot of thought in that story.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put a lot. I mean, put a lot into the theme. I mean, theme is a lot more important in games than story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Isaac, like, there's not a clear story there. It was theme, and it was a story that was told to you through pieces of theme, and that's what's more important in games.
That's the most brilliant thing I've heard today, by the way, because we talk about theme all the time in the office, but everybody else always talks about story.
Yeah.
And that's like when I talk about vampire dishwasher thing, like it's theme, it's not story that keeps me involved in that game. I don't know.
I mean, if you want a cool story, I mean, I hate to say it, but writers, they're better than the people that are writing stories for games. You could read those stories.
No, it's true.
You could watch
Yeah.
movies. Those are great. Those are great stories.
Yeah,
in
those
movies.
are,
Yeah.
Like, there is a way, and it's been done forever, to artfully tell a story through theme in games and through interaction and through gameplay. It's doable. It's a little harder because it's just not as, most people just want to hire a writer who's won awards. What was it like? That was the thing in when we submitted all of our stuff to the summit for Nintendo. There's all these things on the form that said like, from the award-winning writer, and the award-winning animator, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's like all these people that are experts in their field, and
Kind of compensating.
there was nothing about a game designer in that whole thing.
Nope.
And even then, it doesn't always seem to work out. What is it, Crisis 2? Like, they tell, award-winning sci-fi author, some guy I've never heard of.
Doom 3 had a writer.
Well,
Really?
there's like that RL.
There was writing
Shadow
in that game? Did
Complex
people
had a
talk
writer.
in that game?
that was Orson Scott
Yeah.
Card for some reason.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
I like that game because it's Metroid.
I liked it because it had Nolan North.
Who's
Oh, is that why you liked it?
That's the only reason.
That's fair. Uncharted, that's fine. Okay, let's see. So I was kind of just gonna go back to the iPhone because this was kind of interesting for me. I don't know why.
Is it?
But as far as like when you guys are looking at a platform, what do you like? Would you consider the iPhone at this point because it's so big and there's such an installed base, or are you happy with just going the PC route and being able to be all free and Wild West like? Or
if we have an idea for an iPhone or an iPad or anything like that,
Which we do.
which we do,
what you do?
then we'll make something for it. But
Okay.
we're not.
So you're about creating games for the platform.
Yeah,
as
it
far
feels
as-
backwards to go, oh wow,
Yeah.
there's 9 billion iPhones. Well, let's make a game for it.
Right.
That's just like, why don't I just go get a job?
Yeah.
You know? that's what that kind of feels
So
like.
hypothetically, if you make an iPhone game, are you going to make it compatible with Androids
Yes.
for people like me?
Well,
For
what,
people like me.
what
Yeah,
about
I
the
don't have an
5 people
iPhone.
like me that have Windows 7
I got
phones?
Windows
Then
You
what
guys,
happens
no,
to
I'm not doing Windows
2 of the
7.
5 people are in this room?
I'm not doing Windows
Yeah,
7.
No, yeah, for us, and especially like after all the iPhone stuff, it wasn't that we were saying that it was impossible to make a good game for the system.
Yeah.
Because obviously
Yeah.
it was.
No,
it's
it's-
possible.
But you have to make a game
Yeah,
But you
for
have to
the
make a
system.
game for the system.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people were like, "Hey, you should do Meat Boy on the iPad."
Oh my god,
like,
that
you
sounds...
are-
That would be
No,
really.
sounds like-
and it would be, and that's what we said.
It's
That'd be horrible.
irritating
That'd
to
be
hear it.
horrible.
Yeah.
But recently, we've been questioning if it would be possible to redesign
Design.
a game like Meat
That's
Boy
the key.
Sure.
for that platform.
We'd have to base it more off of like Kirby Canvas Curse than Super Mario Brothers.
No. I think we've got a few ideas.
We're not going to say
Uh-oh.
what it is because as soon as
Alright.
we do,
No,
it's
no,
going
no,
to
no.
fill out.
Promise.
and everyone can
Rovio
do it.
listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
They're ready to steal stuff.
No, yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's just to say like it's important for us, even though we say, hey, fuck that, blah 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 blah. You know, haha.
In that voice.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. That's
Fuck
what it is.
that.
Hey, fuck that guy iPhone. Fuck you. Fucking iPhone. Anyway, and we, you know, if something has potential, we don't want to just come off like we don't have any ideas for it, so we're gonna bash it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll openly bash, Connect
Yeah.
because I think that's gone.
That's fun. Let's do that for a while.
This is my wheelhouse.
because I don't think that there can be.
Did you
there's
see?
nothing new is going to
Did
come
you
out of that?
see
that
the
wouldn't be-
video today of the guy that supposedly made like drivers for the PC version of Skyrim that you could play it on Kinect?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that video was real, but if it's real, it's impressive.
I think it is. I think the Kinect itself is good, but every developer just makes crap
Yeah,
except
yeah,
for
well, there's-
except for who's the
Gunstringer dudes.
Twisted Pixel.
Twisted Pixel.
They're the only ones who've actually made a game that works on that system.
It works. It's a
Right.
good game.
That is.
That's the key.
Don't you think
yeah.
there's room for potential there? Do you see any potential there?
Dude, their most successful game on the whole thing
Yeah.
is the Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's.
That
Don't
game-
even get me started on
that game already
hate
came
Fruit
out
Ninja.
on the what the fuck that Sony iToy.
iToy.
Yeah.
I owned it years ago. You fought ninjas. You hit the ninjas away, and it was exactly the same game.
And
And
it probably sold 12 copies because that thing was
the iToy.
No, everybody has iToy.
Now they charge 10 times as much for the
the same-
XBLA
yeah.
version, and people bought it, and
Yeah.
I puked like
dude, it's
violently.
called marketing.
Puked.
I remember when that thing when
It
Kinect
was-
came out, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like Burger King had toys that had Connect toys at Burger King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how that thing got legs. It doesn't even have legs, but
You know
Well, it
why?
sold like
As a stand.
it sold like 10 million last year, and
It's
it's
got-
This is. Do you know why it sold 10 million? Because it was bundled with the
Yeah.
cheapest Xbox.
Yeah.
That's not 10 million
I know.
people playing Kinect games.
Well, it's
not
the
10
same
million
people who
people.
play Wii Sports, and that's why
No,
that game is
significantly
100
less.
million copies.
the
because
difference
it's
is
bundled
you
with-
can.
If my grandma was playing Kinect Sports, she would fall.
Yeah.
See, on the
Break
couch,
a hip.
she can with the
It's-
Wii.
At least she'd have a good lawyer.
It's easy to play with that. Yeah, I mean, I've been at parties where people are playing Dance Central. Nobody can navigate the Kinect menu. Like
Yeah,
that
that's
thing is not for the.
God, look
It's
at our
hard.
look at our Halloween episode for On the Spot, and you'll see me acting like an asshole trying to figure that stuff out.
It's hard to use that thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so just to wrap up a little bit, do you guys want to talk about Indie Game the movie at all?
sure.
Yeah. I don't know which one. I don't. I know it's in Sundance.
Yeah.
Go from there.
It's in Sunday.
It's-
It's
Yeah,
in
it's in
Sundance.
Sundance.
There you go.
That's
That's
cool.
exciting, right?
That's kind of a
It's
big
very
deal.
exciting.
How-
They couldn't talk about it for ages too.
Yeah, we've known for a long
really?
time.
Yeah, like and they had to mysteriously like cancel shows, and people were fucking pissed at them.
Yeah.
And they're like, "We can't tell you why.
Yeah, we can't tell you.
It's a secret. We can't."
Hopefully,
we can't
those
tell you."
same people are kind of, apologizing to them for being such assholes.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, no, it's we actually got to see it for the first time like a month,
Two months ago.
What I mean, give us an overview of what it kind of is. 'Cause I don't know if many people know what's going on with this movie.
Well, originally it was supposed to just be they were just going around. Jamie and Lisanne, they're from
Lisanne.
Canada.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to just do a documentary on video games, the people who make any video games, and they were just interviewing shitloads of people.
Mm-hmm.
They found Tommy through
Alec.
Alec,
Yeah.
and they came down and like met us at GDC and followed us back to my house and
Which was
filmed
weird, I'm sure. You're like, what?
And no,
you
it
guys
was weird.
doing?
I didn't know who they were, and like the funny thing was so we were all there. My wife was sitting next to me, and we're at the awards ceremony. This is when we lost to Monaco, and they were recording us, and I didn't know who they were. And Danielle was convinced that since they were recording us,
Yeah.
that we were going to win.
Oh, that's
You would think so.
dirty.
Yeah.
That
So
is
we were
dirty.
like, oh.
Well, see, I know who they were, but
Yeah.
I was still like, oh god, maybe they don't.
We were
maybe they
flipping
know
out,
something.
Though. We
Yeah.
were totally flipping out. Like the IGF thing was just super stressful.
Yeah.
And yeah, they came back and interviewed us for a few days, and then they came back again and interviewed us for more. And then like I guess it changed the movie, and it went from like I think it was really like 20 developers
Yeah.
and their stories. Then it was like 10 developers. Then it was like 5 developers,
Then it was.
and then it was
3.
You guys and
Three
Jonathan
teams.
Blow and
And Phil.
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 From
because
Fez.
I guess it made more. But the cool thing is they still have all the other footage, and there's going to be a whole other like DVD of like or another movie or 2 movies worth of content. Of
You'll
all
get to
these
see
interviews.
us lose at the IGF.
That'll be exciting.
You'll get to see me go, oh god, and I grab a Pepsi. I'm diabetic, so my
Okay.
sugar was dropping. So I grab a Pepsi, I shotgun a Pepsi, then we lose, and then my sugar's 320. So I was like, oh, all right.
When you lost, did you feel like you lost to a worthy competitor?
No,
Yeah. It's fair.
I mean, I think Monaco's fun. I don't think it's better than Meat Boy. I've said that a couple times, but
Yeah, at the time it was more like, hey,
Yeah, we had
like it sucked.
it sucked so
Like
bad.
it sucked for so many different reasons. Like it was just such a stressful experience.
We
And
had
then
we had
to win
judges come
absolutely
up to
nothing.
us and say we didn't vote for you because you already had your XBLA deal, and
It
it's
was
like,
so like.
but I still don't have any
No.
money or trophy.
Dude, like, like
So-
we had other developers who were judges who openly said that. Phil Fish
Yeah,
voted for Monaco because he needed more help. Like he openly
yeah, because
So it's a politics game.
That's
Yeah.
not
Kind
of.
fair.
no, but that was the state of the IGF then, and the
And the
IGF
year
has
after
gone
it
through.
changed.
Yeah, and the year after it changed.
of course, this is what
It's
we
gone
call
through
Tommy
this
luck.
like wave of like how indie games have been legitimized. Like how should we rate these games? And it's kind of like if you go back and you look at the winners versus the other games, like what was it? Like
Blueberry Garden?
Grand
I've
Fizzin'?
always wondered
Yeah,
why
no, I know.
Blueberry Garden that crap won. I don't. Oh my God! Don't even get me started on
Dude,
Blueberry Garden. I just could talk for ages. Sorry.
Cran Physics, which is a great game.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything negative about these games. Great game. World of Goo was up against that game. And World of Goo is one of the
brilliant.
biggest indie games of all time. And it's
Yeah.
one of the best indie games of all time. And it was just like insane. And like Braid lost design I don't know what.
Braid lost what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Braid.
What did
Well,
it
no,
lose to?
Braid
Super
won-
Mario World?
Braid won the year before for
Oh yeah,
design.
yeah. That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
And then,
Okay.
but that was they were actually still doing everything's grouped into everything with Braid, or was that the first year they did actual
I
categories?
don't. Everything is like way back in the beginning. There was like this crazy number system that you'd have to like crunch numbers when you judge things, and then it went in. It was
That
really
sounds
crazy
like
math stuff.
GameSpot's old review system.
But no, it's gotten a lot better over time. But it came to a head where it's like, how do we rate games? You know, is this going to be like the Oscars or is this going to be a scholarship? And that was
Yeah.
quite literally the conversation.
That-
was
yeah.
like, should this be a scholarship for games to get up? You know,
Yeah.
or should we just be the best game wins? You know, everybody votes and that's it. And obviously with Minecraft, that was the
Last year
conclusion
was the first year it was judged with everything being a jury,
Yeah.
where everybody openly talked about it. Because before you could downvote games, you could say,
which doesn't make any sense.
yeah, you could give a game a negative score in like technical if you didn't feel it needed to be in technical. So what would happen is this weird kind of thing, and then with grand prize, everybody was like, well, I guarantee I know the conversation with World of Goo was
Yeah.
like, well, they've already won 2 awards.
Yeah.
It sold 10 million copies.
Yeah, so we need to give this to Cran Physics, which Cran Physics is a cool game. It's not
I was
better than World of Goo.
I was part of the system as well in the positive.
Yeah.
Because Gish, my first game, won the grand prize in 2005 over Alien Hominid, which I think was a better game. And the reason why it didn't win though is because it was already being published.
Yeah, it was already
retail-wise.
known.
It was,
You've
it
been
was
on
already
both,
really well
both
known.
sides of that.
And I guarantee that's why it happened. And usually the more prominent games on the IGF, like there's a lot of great prominent games that are huge that they never win.
There must be some small consolation in the fact, though, that your game is like
My
huge
IGF
and on Xbox Live and
My IGF trophy is my Tesla.
oh yeah.
No, it was. It's really odd to talk about it without seeming.
Yeah, it's
Bitter or-
strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's really not about that. Like, it just was a shitty situation, mostly because of the stress.
Yeah,
it was
it was-
just a horrible wave of anxiety through like that whole.
It was months
year.
and months of like.
It went from like
anxiety.
losing to all the horrible stuff we had to go through launching that game in development and the stuff that we went through with Microsoft, and then the problems that we had with the PC version after it came out, and Tommy having to go through that. And
yeah.
it was just a really horrible year overall, really stressful, packed full of horrible things.
It ended pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to wrap up this part of the conversation. Is there anything else you want to say about the movie?
Oh, yeah, we were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
coming
we
up.
were.
Yeah, that was actually a movie question.
Yeah.
And we kind of it's
They
fine.
they capture all that.
Yeah, that
It's a-
entire year.
It is a great movie. It's really odd to talk about because we're in it.
Yeah.
Because it still feels like a bit of a home movie, like you're watching a home movie.
Right.
But it is like
Pretty entertaining.
it's great. I think it will inspire a lot of people, and it really kind of shows what goes into the design of the game as well as just the release of the game.
Yeah.
Making games, just the mental mindset of dealing with the public. You know, like everybody in the movie, I think, has a different part and shows a different aspect of what it's like to be a game designer and the pros and cons. And I think it'll inspire a great deal of people, not even in the video game scene, but just creatively in general, just seeing people like just living a dream, I guess.
Do you know when it's coming out?
It's gonna start showing. Sundance shows
19th.
19th?
Yeah. The Sundance starts 19th. We don't know when.
Okay.
the first showing of it is in Canada on the 3rd of February, and I think they're gonna take it down through California. Show it a bunch of different places. I know it'll show in Santa Cruz.
Show in North Carolina.
Yeah, and then they'll probably do a digital release.
Cool.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome if it got on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Steam release movies.
They don't.
They don't.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but if that happens,
Gabe Newell, get on that.
He probably will. He's a smart guy.
He's pretty cool.
As long as he doesn't have to work on Half-Life 3, he'll do anything.
All right, we're gonna move on to our kind of the things that we do on the HotSpot, the show. One of which is 10 years ago this week in reviews. It's basically I read a paragraph from a review from 10 years ago, and you guys try to guess it. Here we go. 8.9 is the game. This game is likely to surprise gamers who have become comfortable with Nintendo's recent image as a cute factory. Nintendo's recent hits, most notably Pokemon, have ventured deep into quote-unquote cute and cuddly territory, but the game company actually used to have a slightly darker streak, as evidenced by the Metroid games. With this game, it looks as though Nintendo has managed to create a successful marriage of the two disparate elements, one part dark struggle for survival, one part cute fairy tale. This game is an engaging game with the twisted charm found in a good Tim Burton movie.
What the heck?
What 10 years ago?
Because it was like, wasn't it Smash Brothers and Pikmin that?
Yeah, I was gonna say Pikmin.
Pikmin's the answer.
Pikmin is not. That's
not
a
dark.
horrible description of Pikmin.
I don't see how Pikmin has anything like Tim Burton.
That was-
I mean, it's
Nothing
got Souls of the Dead Pikmin, but that's not.
That was written by a one-time GameSpot editor-in-chief.
What'd that get, an 8.9?
8.9, yeah.
I would have given it much higher than that.
Yeah.
Pikmin was a great game.
Well, it's kind of interesting going back. We do this every week, and it's kind of interesting to go back and see which games we gave massively high scores to and which we gave like middling scores to, but turned out to be, history proved them to be the ones that we hang on to.
Not that would ever happen to me and Tom.
Right, you guys are
We're
infallible.
always exactly right.
Right. I'm sure McShay will hang on to that Meat Boy review for the end of time.
Hey, I nailed that one right away.
Yeah.
I might have underrated it. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what history says.
Wait a minute.
You guys were
GameSpot.
Yeah.
Was there?
We got the award. We got all the awards.
What isn't that review in the movie?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It might have been.
It
Did
is.
it make it?
Yeah.
Wait,
I remember
was
we.
it his voice? Who did the voice? Did you?
That was him.
Yeah.
I think you're in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the movie.
Well, they asked
You're-
for permission,
wow.
but we. I don't know if we ever.
I didn't realize we gave them permission, but I'm glad that it somehow made its way into the movie.
We were just discussing this the other day.
Yeah, because I was happy that I
Yeah.
was.
We loved your
That was-
game, by the way,
That
just
was
to
the
make sure
review
it's.
that cheered me up on that day.
Oh, really?
It was.
You'll see all about
That was
the crazy.
I spent like a third of that review talking about how there's no frustration in it.
Yeah.
because that was like the.
And you
thing.
said all about the controls and.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Like, that's my bag. That was me.
They're perfect. You can't argue with perfect controls.
I'm a platformer guy. That's my genre. So I played that and I was like, holy shit!
Nice.
Like I just never played anything like it, and I don't want to kiss your butt, so I'll say something negative now.
Okay.
The game is overpriced. No, it wasn't even.
The bosses weren't that good.
The bosses weren't great.
They
They were
weren't.
only good.
We know that.
There you go. Boom. Negative comment about Meat Boy.
That hurt.
I know. It's get you right in the soul.
I'm out.
Yeah, the sad thing is with the bosses,
Yeah.
we only got to rework one of the bosses.
Okay.
Like, so usually, I mean, with bosses, I'm sure we would have gone through revisions. The first boss went through 3 revisions, and none of the other bosses, they were all impromptu.
Yeah.
The first thing that goes in where you have to do
Oh.
it because we have to get the game done.
Yeah,
we
we
literally
had-
did
First
like
boss was the
all the
best,
rest
too.
of the bosses.
Yeah.
All the rest of the bosses we did in like a month.
The first boss. I mean, especially ending with the cutscene of the squirrel,
Yeah.
which kills me every time.
Okay. All right. One other thing, an apology. I need to issue.
I don't want to be the ass kiss. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Come on.
I'm just teasing.
Apology. During our To the Moon spoiler class last week, I described the vocal intonation of those with Asperger's as robot-like. It has come to my attention that's not the way you should do it. Hidler, Hidler, from Twitter writes, as someone with Asperger's, I take offense to the notion that I sound like a robot when I talk. The PC term is flat effect. So sorry, sorry about that, Hidler.
I think that's a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah. There you go. If you have a comment, question, correction, clarification, email us hotspot@gamespot.com or give us a call. Well, don't give us a call because I never check that. Pop quiz hotspot. It's fine.
Honesty is good.
No, Pop Quiz Hotspot is our segment where you can win whatever game or whatever's coming out this week. Mario Kart 7, or if you guys have stuff you want to give away, we could do that too. But it's readers write in, and you guys have to answer the question or the riddle. So here we go. Peril Gruss Perilgrus quizzes. Which Curse of the Monkey Island character was so popular in the test version of the game that he or she was given more appearances in the game?
Monkey Island?
Curse of Monkey Island.
I only played the first Monkey Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty iconic character.
Hiddler.
That's horrible.
The answer is Murray, the demonic skull.
I don't know that.
You don't know that franchise?
I don't know that genre.
All right. So good work, Perilgrus. I'll send you something that you want and some useless junk we have lying around the office. But yes, if you have a quiz, NES Era or Beyond, you can also do a riddle, or you can do a theme song, and we'll guess whoever is on the, I don't know, what the intro music, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Go ahead, write us, and you could win stuff. Housekeeping. Our live Skyrim spoiler cast is happening this Friday, 4 p.m. It will actually be live, and you can call us via Skype. Our Skype name is HotSpot GameSpot. That's one word. Or phone number 1-415-644-5065. We'll probably open up calls around 4:30. You'll find out through Twitter, and you can follow us through, I don't know, what's our Twitter name? GameSpot, Hotspot, something? I don't know.
It's GameSpot Hotspot.
Sounds like I'll figure that out later. Let's see. To our one listener in Bahrain, what's up? Yeah, we have more podcasts. GameSpot UK podcast, HotSpot. Not as good as the HotSpot. All right, I think that does it for this week. Tommy, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
Edmund, we are looking forward to your guys' next game. Tom McShay, Kevin Van Ord. That does it for me. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. HotSpot out!